Yo. Astro. How do, how do? Happy first day. How is it going? Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. Doing some final sky atmosphere stuff, and then I'm going to post this. Sehr guti. Whoa, that's a lot of rain. Don't know if you can probably go on hear that, but it is hailing here. Super loud. Wow, that's insane. Like shaking the walls. I can hear it through my headphones. Oh. Do you have the? We just switched back to regular time in Canada. We do have it. I don't know when ours takes place though. You join the stream, there's no one here. It's like, what? What's going on? Hey, YF. I'll do. I'm sure I saved my progress last time, but everything got bluer. So just need to tint that a little bit more. I'm a 3D artist. My render's not good because the lighting. I took 3 courses, still bad. Any advice or something I can follow? Depends. Like, what are you trying to what are you trying to light? Is it like assets or full environments? What sort of stuff? You're trying to light specifically. Arch viz and product viz. I mean, with products, it's any sort of 3 point lighting, and I don't know what program you use, but some sort of offline renderer like Cycles or is usually best for that sort of stuff. Although there is a lot of arch viz getting done in Unreal nowadays. Even AI is looking. No, the difference between AI and you is you are learning and iterating. So eventually, what's going to happen is you'll be able to just do any changes you need to any part of the image, whereas AI can't do that sort of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, change this one bit to red, changes the frog into a friggin' fox or some stuff like that. So aha, okay, there it is. That's the setting I wanted. No, this is the Dark Ruins, Eric. So this is the what do you call it? The that asset pack they made or level. So I will usually take that sort of stuff and redress it or use what's there and dress around it and reimagine it. Annoyingly, the sky atmosphere. I'm sure I saved, but the sky atmosphere didn't save the settings I wanted, so I'm just quickly getting that back as much as I can, and then I'll probably start getting ready to post it up. Okay, we got that green tint back. Good. Last session now. So just a bit more Ray and me. A bit more green. Okay. Hey, take a tea. How do, how do? Good to see you, comrade. So you just fake lights. Yeah, this is cinematic lighting. It's not. It's all fake, all fakery. No directional. Well, there's a directional light, but it's doing none other lighting. So 0056. Oh, almost. Take it back a bit more blue. I've had issues with the sky atmosphere in the past, though, like changing sometimes as well. So could also be do with that. But I've been working on this on and off for a little bit of time. I like to come back to stuff with fresh eyes. If you see the iteration, it started off completely different. Let me yeah, like these are all. I mean, 17th of January. So this can make for a funny gift though. So look, that's how it started. Just complete madness. I just go for each one. The unseen side of just how much iteration and messing around and coming back to stuff. So that's when it takes a big shift from there to there, and then it's just like lots of little set dressing changes. It keeps going across, new angles. And eventually the changes get less dramatic. And then when you get to that point, you're in like diminishing returns, right? So that's when it's like, okay, this is postable. But I always like to work on something and keep coming back to it over a few hours each week or every 2 weeks because you just see stuff you just never saw before with it as well. For the moment, I'm just trying to get my sky atmosphere back to what it was because I that's the color I want to go for. All right, that's basically there. It just needs there's a bit more really in there. 1.4. So cool. Well, we're back to where we were, so that's good. So that's what we had originally. A bit too colourful for my liking. My goal is to get more colour in, but that was a bit too strong. So now it's a bit more gradiented out. With the fog kicking in a little bit more. Aqua 55. Don't forget to post your work in the Discord if you want some feedback. Aqua 55. Sky Blue 50. So I think on this shot, some music on. This one needs a bit of work, I think. You want to match the tone. Remember, we have Frank giving his guest talk on Monday. So make sure you put questions in the guest talkers channel from Remedy. It's going to be really cool. T there. It's a banger song. This is a T song right here. What's a you song? You remember this? Na na da da da. Hey, hey, hey. Good old Bewitched. 90s top 100 songs. Some people say I look like my dad. I don't know if they're Irish or what, but Hello, Sultan. How are you? Bro, it's so quiet. It's just your speakers, I think. I see myself in the green. You're lying to me. Oh, yeah, God. Honestly, time has been I need to do the new member things. Time has really just been flying by with work and stuff. Brain is I'll do that after the stream. You will get your Ashera rank. I'm actually going to demote you all the way down to Scottish Fold. Bro's going to be Scottish Fold again. Server wipe. Yeah. I remember when you joined the same time as Finn, and I thought you two were like were boys because you're instantly hanging around together. But yeah, that was God, yeah, a year ago. Jesus. Jesus. I've had this scene in the works for a while. It's just this is like the last thing before I focus on mentorships and blockout stuff. Because I'll be lighting that scene for Patreon. That's going to be a longer term thing since we have guest talks. And I want to do some blockout lighting, like take scenes and just turn them to grey, or block out basic scenes and light them. I need a Leah scene. Get Leah's scene, strip out all the materials, and light it. Is it a blockout then? Technically, I don't know. It's more like a full scene, that is. Ah! I'm pretty happy with the color script for that, to be honest. Three shots, one GIF, no reference. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Yeah, look how it started, V. Bro was like, what's he doing? What's he doing? That's how it started. Mental. So I'll turn all that into a GIF. GIF all that stuff up. I'll take out the other shots. I only want the main shot for the GIF. So probably four images. I'm not using movie render queue. I'm not using cinematic. Here's the thing with cinematic view, right? It's hit and miss because if I put cinematic view on this, the fog's going to change because it uses I think the effects. So the fog changes and it gets a little bit more like, I don't like the fact it changes like that. And when you use movie render queue, it's even a bit more different. So I'm just going to take 100% screenshots after stream in the editor, and like it's like that scene from Gravity where they're like, oh, that's me. No, actually, the Neil deGrasse Tyson cringe gif. That's me trying to like press F9 when this is like full screen. I'm like, oh, memory's running out. No, I don't use movie render queue much anymore because it's kind of fake news anyway, right? It's you're rendering it cinematic, so. But I've had so many issues with it, especially with interiors. It just never looks the same. The fog always goes weird. Certain things don't work with it as well. So just gonna do. So that's epic, and let's turn up to cinematic. Ah, yeah, yeah. F9. Ugh. Wait, what? 2043. Yeah. Yeah. So the only difference really is the only thing that kicks in for cinematic is the fog. That gives it a bit more of a fall off, but kind of just increases the mistiness. So yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Kind of want to see it on every shot actually. F9 that. F9 that. Thanos Homeworld. Oh, I'm glad you said that because that's what I was I was kind of going for as well. I don't know, it adds more fall off to the fog, but it also thickens it in areas. I don't know. I don't know. It's such a minor difference, but nothing else changes really. It's just the fog slider. Oh, just fucking died. That one did. But yeah, we'll see what we feel about it. PC's already dying uh, after doing that because once you do it, it like lags behind for ages. Got a bit of N sync on. A little bit of N sync. Cool. I'm happy with that. I think I've gone through enough iteration on that. So I'm going to post those after the stream, which is good because it's almost time for reviews anyway. Now I need to learn how to make a. I think I remember how to do it. It's like doing it in Photopea. So let's go through these and let's delete the ones that aren't the main render. That's the main render. Main render. That's not. That's not. No, no, no. How's when you posting your guys' destruction project? Nice. I saw a video actually. I didn't watch it, but it's from a game art YouTube I follow. I think it's called Jack. You know Jack the Generalist? I'm pretty sure there's a few tech art videos on there. So, what does a technical artist actually do? And AAA game destruction, Houdini to Unreal. So, I don't know if you've seen those, but he's got some good videos. The screenshots where this doesn't really change. I wanted to make sure. We have or we have? We have. What is the resolution of 4K? Oh no! No! Hold on. My mouse is dedged. I've been held hostage. We are so back. We are so back. $40.96. Look at these cheese balls. So funny. With your non-capital underscore A. Put user in timeout. Naughty step. I expected better from you, T. From Leah, I expect it because she's an environment artist. But you, I'd expect the 4K resolution of a TV. Ah, right. Don't figure this out in 6 minutes. It's fine. I can do it afterwards. Ah, ah. Oh no. Some of them are different resolutions. Ruined. Absolutely ruined. They all got blackboard. No, they don't. Okay. Okay, future Elliot problem. Let me dream of high-res gobos. You know what you should dream of? You should dream of asking a question for our guest talker on Monday. Good sir. Right, I'll probably post this tonight. It's a pretty simple 3 images, 1 GIF, no reference from this one. I might do a color palette thing, but yeah, that should go up soon. Get some music on, something good track. How much dedicated wham? Those World of Warcraft or BlizzCon questions are so good. Have you seen the one where the guy in the red shirt he asked that lore question where they'd messed up the lore or something for a character and they were like, "Oh shit, you're right." Yeah, we'll get on that. I think the bot is dead maybe this week, but let's see. Yeah, he's not signed it. Oh wait, no, he's there. Right, let's go. Let's have a gander. No video record? How do you mean? How do you mean, true fans? Look at the degeneracy. It mostly comes from V. Right, there's something I need to do first because this was sent to me. So I'll do Eric afterwards. Let me do this. All right. Oh yeah, they're always recorded. It's just that if you come live, you get the extra goodies. Turn my music down. Right, yo. So this some CV feedback from my friend Mr. Ilya. Don't be fooled by his fake first name. He's a Russian spy. So yeah, he sent me this, and I said I'd get back to him, but it was like 2 days ago. So I asked him, and he said it's cool to do it on stream. So this could be some good general educational stuff for people doing CVs anyway, right? So firstly, one page, that's good. Like we don't need to turn CVs into a science, right? I know there's lots of these kind of CV workshops that go on and stuff, but I've never I've never had a case, especially being on the other end of the hiring process now, is I've never seen where someone's like, oh, this person's got a killer portfolio, but the CV it don't slap. It don't slap at all. The declined. So um, there's still some general stuff you want to make sure you're doing with your CV, but portfolio is always going to be king. So unless you do like 5 pages, you can't go wrong too much really. So one page, that's good. The background, I don't mind the background. It's cool. It's just maybe I would have blurred it a bit, um, just so it doesn't get too noisy onto what you've got. I always like to justify stuff. So you see how your kind of lines go in like this and back. If you just grab this text and Control J it, it's just gonna like make it modular, and it just looks way cleaner for your about me sections. Like Control J is a great lifesaver in that regard. Fix your name. Your name is not Elijah. You can't fool me. So that's some feedback there. You're a lighting artist. Yep. Hi, I'm Elijah Lighting Artist. Sounds like you're saying your name. So, uh, hello or hi. I am a lighting artist. Because, it's kind of, we know that you are Russian spy up here, right? So it's, you could just start with, I'm a lighting artist. Or you can just literally start from here, right? You could almost slice off that bit and then do the Control J. I have a 13 years experience again, 2 years in real time lighting. Unity, art direction, optimization, technical art. My main occupation over the last few years has been creating cinematic, atmospheric lighting setups. My main occupation over the last couple of years have been creating cinematic. I'll just add an and here. Cinematic and atmospheric lighting setups for AA and AAA games. Get rid of that comma and just add and. I love working with passionate people throughout close collaboration with level artists, tech artists, design departments, and art directors to achieve performance goal. We'll be happy to join your team as a lighting artist. I don't think you need that bit. I mean, like I say, this is all. It's not going to make or break someone interviewing you, but it's just like, yeah, I don't think you need that last bit because obviously you'd be happy to join them. Then again, are you happy if it isn't remedied? So I'd remove that last bit because if you're applying there, you probably want to work there or do the job anyway, right? So that should just clean up that first section. Yep. Yeah. This format is cool where it does the dots going up. Educational history, Vessel Forge, yep. Again, you can Control J this. It will block it out nicely. Or justify. It's called justification. It will just like level out your text, whatever program you're using. Vessel Forge, Lighting Art Mentorship. Cool. Yeah, these are fine. Yeah, this bit's fine as well. It's not common to really add mentors into CVs. Um, but if you're just looking to fill out this bottom section so it lines up, then that's fine. My contacts, LinkedIn. So you have like a space between these two. So I just get get rid of that and maybe do a capital E here, so it makes a bit more sense. Tools, yeah, looks fine. Yeah, I mean that's about it really for my main notes. I say there's no need to go into every single thing you could make a little better because it does. This already does 85% of what it needs to do. So the last 10% to get it to 95 is the changes I spoke about. There's various things you could do, like you could do bullet points. So like these circular bullet points smaller for these bits, make it look a bit cleaner than a minus sign. Again, all this is just readability stuff. So yeah, no, it looks good otherwise. Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, do those changes, let's and send it over. But other than that, there looks good. So Eric, once again, general feedback. Did another round of polish based on the feedback from last week. Useful, thanks. I'll also add screenshots of the Albedo range before the feedback starts. Cool. Oh, look, you're almost bronze. 8 out of 10. Let's go. Oh yeah, look at that. That that's way better. This foreground now. That's some good framing. Like for context, right? So I did the pre-recorded feedback last week because it was I didn't stream. But, I don't think I can find it anymore. I know that you had yeah, so you didn't have like the fence elements and stuff like that. The framing on the sides. So if I remember what that looks like, and then go back to what you've got. Oh yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, that's kind of how I would go about it as well, right? Because you've got like this curves round from the left upwards in. The orange isn't as prominent anymore, which is good. And it's all leading down. It's like yeah, this is good stuff. Like there's room at the top here, so the tower doesn't go straight to the top. To create a tangent, which is good stuff. The rest really is just like looking at this is just like adding little pebbles and grass in little smaller strands in little polished stuff that is like the 10% for the dressing. But this is already good stuff. So whatever you do now to this, feel free. But based on this image, yeah, that's nice. I don't know if I would have this tree on the left. I don't know if I would reverse that order. So I don't that tree on the left being taller because then it brings you down in an angle. See how that looks? Not a big deal though. Otherwise, got some film grain, very nice. Nice roughness maps. That looks nice. I see it, man. I see it. You can't hide it from me. I see it right here. You love your chromatic aberration. Your albedos look good. Um, they do look like they're above 60 sRGB. Is it too dark? It technically might not be too dark, but I do get like a like is that just about right? It depends on the wood really, but let's have a look at it against the to be fair, I think you're just about right. If you were any darker on the albedos, I would probably flag it up. And then maybe for the trees. But no, you're not. You're not flagging me up in that territory yet. So I think that's fine for now. If it was nighttime, you would definitely be able to tell. But because it's daytime, you can kind of go with it. But something to keep in mind. Okay, so now really, it's really a lighting sort of lighting feedback, like atmospheric perspective and all that sort of stuff. So this is all locked in. I would ask to see if you can push your fog and your atmospheric perspective a bit more. Like your sky atmosphere should give you your atmospheric perspective, which is just going to it's going to give you this sort of thing where it layers. So it's like that's like layer 1 where it's purple. That's layer 2 where it's a bit more blue. Then it doesn't kick in. So I would try to get that separation subtly in on your sky atmosphere and your height fog. If you're not already, you get the screen space scattering fog plugin and enable that. I do an override on mine, so I set my override to about 0.7 on the intensity using Unreal. So you can see here, SSFS, I overload this to 0.7 and I save this as a preset. So every time I load Unreal, I go to console variables, presets. Wow, fantastic, is what I called it. But yeah, that just, because every time your CVARs will reset unless you put them in the ini file. So, but I think that's what it probably needs. I think you need some atmospheric perspective, maybe to push and pull some values a little bit on the sky. Having the sky be a bit brighter and tweaking a tiny bit. So I think that's probably the next biggest thing is getting separation from behind the house and the mountains to what's in front. So that's going to be through your height fog and sky atmosphere and directional light. If you don't have a directional light, you can still use one for the atmosphere and not hit the environment. But if you're using one for this, which I think you are, just dial in those settings so you get some separation. Yeah, good stuff. Really good. I'm at the point where I have to really look at things to see what to improve, which is usually a good sign, right? Because we could have you iterate on this for weeks and weeks and weeks, but at some point it's good to confirm that quality has been hit and that you've hit the major sort of things. So I think you have for the most part. It's like this bit, because you zoomed into it, this bit looks a bit weird, where this flows down here. It's quite sharp, but Overall, I'd say that is hitting quality. Yeah, so when you make this black and white, it's quite. And we spoke about histograms last week. It's quite flat in this sort of area. If you think about value structure, it's dark to light, so you can get that through your sky, having some vignette at the front, and like tweaking your lighting contrast as well. So yeah, you can see it's still in your histogram, right? That it's in the middle. You're missing a lot of darker contrast, which you could get a bit more via, uh, again, doing a value structure pass on this. So lighter in the background, a bit darker towards the front. You can use post processing for that as well. So midtones gain is good for pushing things in the distance. So if I load back up here, oh, I'm in cinematic still, aren't I? Ugh. So if you want to push things further in the distance, right, a good way to do that is midtones gain. So if you bring that up, you're going to push things that are further into the image. And then for your shadows, right, you can, if you want to make things a bit dark, and you can use the gain on your shadows to bring down stuff close to the camera. Obviously, that's too strong. But yeah, I'm always turning my stuff black and white and thinking, is this darker into lighter with the framing elements as well. So that's the most fun part of the project for the lighting. So you can just vibe out on that and start pushing and pulling. I would make your scene black and white in Unreal and just keep pushing and pulling until you have an obvious structure, so that when you blur it, you see the value structure in there. I think my hotkey broke for my monitor. Yeah, you want to see some sort of big value shape here when you blur as well. So you're in the phase now. Just keep blurring, keep black and whiting it, and refine from there. Look at histograms and see what. Try and get a bit more towards the left on that stuff, and you'll get your contrast in that way. No, really cool stuff, man. This is like it's almost there. It's just lighting and post processing stuff now. YFVK, it's in the game. So we talked about your albedos last week, and you've been looking at that, and you want to check your albedos and how they're doing. No problem about the English, no problem at all. First time using Miro, cool. Let's have a look. I'd like to know how to directly load a board in the Miro app, because sometimes the pop up. Wait, oh, I think we got it. Sometimes the pop up never comes up. Okay, here we go. Yes, so yeah, I believe it displays it. Like, don't quote me on this because I might be wrong. I believe you can use a console variable to see what your textures will look like in linear. It's in that article I sent, but yeah, they show it as sRGB and a bit brighter. But what the engine actually sees is quite dark, which is why we have brighter albedos. Also, YF, reach out to V or Leah because they do a lot of. They've gone through the ringer of measuring albedos in Designer and using the histogram for it and using the same chart. So just confer with them as well. Maybe link them your board and ask them if this looks right because they're going to know a lot more designer specific stuff than me on that because they've gone through this exact same process in the feedback I'm giving you. Because I know that they can get a graph up that shows the um, median range. So that'll be good to get up as well. Yeah, what you're doing is perfect. You've got the albedo, you've matched it roughly to the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be roughly in the same area. And you're using the chart from Gregor's. Yeah, that looks good. I say Leah and V have done a lot of this stuff. That's why their albedos are on this little internal checker. Well, mainly Leah's because it's medieval. I don't really do have sci-fi stuff. It's a bit different with sci-fi because it's all metal and stuff. But yeah, I think she measured against values as well. So it doesn't need to be perfect, but if you're in the area and it's justified, you've researched it, then you're good. That's what it should be. And then your lighting will adjust to that in any scenario. Yeah, this looks great. Good research. Very good job on this. Keep going. Follow up with Leah and V and keep going. But yeah, this looks good to me. John, welcome back, John. You've been experimenting with lighting based on ref from Overwatch. You want to hear my thoughts and some questions. How do you approach the lanterns? I have an emissive effect with a Fresnel, and I have them on a different lighting channel than the point light. I was wondering if this would be how you tackle them in your way. So you have paper. You have these paper things. So I'll get to that. I'll get to it in a minute because I want to point out these because I'm not sure if they're work in progress. You want to hear thoughts on screen, windows, doors. So you've added gradients. General feedback on the lighting, where you could think make improvements. Cool. Okay. Let's have a look then. I can't recall what it was 2 weeks ago, right? So you're doing more of a daytime setup, and this was looking pretty cool. And now you've gone to more. So you've injected more local color, gone for more of a nighttime setup to milk it. Cool. Change the music. Yeah, looks. I say lighting wise, it looks good. A bit more vibrant. The paper lanterns, they don't look paper. I almost thought they. Maybe I didn't spot this before because it was daytime, but they look like a Lambert shader. So the trick to these types of things is you got to have a pretty good albedo map with a gradient on it, like a texture gradient in the albedo, and then you can put a point light inside it, and like you say, do it on the lighting channel or disable shadows on the point light inside it. Add a bit of a source radius, these types of lights usually don't cast that much light outwards, so um, this soft lighting you've got looks good. They look, yeah, they don't look paper. That's the biggest thing at the moment. So if you make them paper looking and add a gradient in designer in the albedo and then have the point light inside, that's going to give you the look you need. You might also want to try doing a subsurface map, see how that looks on it as well. But those will be your gateways into it. Windows look good. See, they have a gradient, which is nice. It's all about gradients for that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, that looks good. Do I like this being here? Hmm. I'm kind of thinking if I look at this, right, I'm like, okay, person's going to be down here. Here, I get it. They can get a ladder, climb up. But for these here on the top, I don't really see how they would reach them unless they have like little stick things. But also, I'm just looking at it. Is this too much in the way of the main focal point? It's not like massively flagging up to me that it is, but at the same time, it is right in your face. Because of its texture as well. So I don't even know if I would have that there because I feel like you're clipping too much of the surrounding eye rest. Because you'd have eye rest here, eye rest detail, and then that's. I don't know. What do you guys think in chat? Do you think this thing is just we should remove this? Ask him to remove it, or it's too in your face? I don't think they make sense being that in that place versus on the lower. But yeah, I think that one definitely blocks a bit too much of the intended. Everything's flowing into that, which looks great. It's just that thing is, yeah, potentially a bit off-putting. I'd probably get rid of it. But let's see what people think. There's a lot of experienced people in the chat on the environmental side. Oh yeah, 30-second delay. So I want the answer for that to come through. Lighting looks quite nice. I think, yeah, you do need to do a texture pass on this. They're a bit yellow. Do you want it to be yellow? Do you want it to be more orange? Maybe slightly more orange would help complement it a bit more. You're in color territory now, so this is where you just keep trying things. So I just think it's the main thing is the lanterns, really, the texture and color of them, the gradient. The one that is here where my mouse is, that possibly just hide it, and take a picture of both and just flip between it and see what it looks like. Actually, I wonder if Don't know if this is a browser. I don't know how good that'll be. Yeah, yeah, not as good as Photoshop's. Yeah, I kind of think yeah. I would personally go with removing it. Don't think it's really doing too much. Well, there's people leaving comments in the chat. So if you're watching the recording, V says love the lighting. Leah says hide it and compare. Victor says yeah, draws the eye instead of the fountain. Leah says turn your image black and white. Squint. Look at your value structure. Look up lanterns from Silent Hill. They got some good looking lanterns. Make the background a bit darker. I think that one. Let's have a look because that I see what you're going for. Like Overwatch is quite neutrally balanced because it's a multiplayer game and it's not too contrasty. So I think it does have nice soft contrast already, but always worth having a look as well. Your histogram is kind of trending in a mid-tone but slightly contrasted way, as it is. But those tricks I just showed on the last one, pushing your midtones and bringing your shadows back, those are quick ways to get sort of like these areas right being being darker to frame inwards to this image. So also I know not every game has a high contrast like that as well. So but yeah, take one of these images, just make them black and white, and just put it, put them next to yours and just vibe check it overall. So if we do that, give me 1 sec. So when I look at it like this, I'm like, yeah, this looks like it would be part of Overwatch from a distance. I think value wise, like you're similar. So yeah, nothing lighting wise really stands out too much to me. It's just the lanterns. The lanterns, that lantern being in the way, the texture of the lanterns themselves, and refining that a little bit more. Hey, Mr. Brooker, what's with the ads? Probably YouTube. I do not control any of the ads, sadly. Otherwise, I give you guys an ad every 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, you're in the same contrast range as Overwatch, right? So I think that's fine. Yeah, paper lanterns, that's the main thing. New lighting direction, again, is very nice and colourful. Yeah, V left some good comments in there as well, but a lot of it comes down to the albedo. Oh, why can't I go left around this? Yeah, thanks for the before and afters. They're always quite helpful. Um, yeah, start using your histograms as well. Now, if I take your histogram straight away, right, you've got this big gap where you're missing a lot of darker contrast, and that's understandable because your previous feedback was that it's too dark, right? So now you got to balance it slightly back up a little bit to the left, and now you're in this balancing act of having the black borders is good because then you can compare between the image and the borders. So you probably, if anything, there's a few things I would do. I would reintroduce a little bit of contrast to the shadows, but also there's a setting on your fog called distance in the volumetric. It looks like you got it set to 0. It makes your image very flat. That's why you're getting this issue with the histogram. So what I'd recommend you do, and this is what a lot of lighting artists do because of this issue, is on your height fog in the volumetric setting, this start distance, set this up a little bit. Mine's quite dramatic, but if I set this to 0, I will get the same issue. I'll start to flatten everything. Whereas if I push it back, I get contrast and then I get atmospheric perspective. So same for you as well, Eric, right? When you use the distance, have it set behind and then up the intensity from behind the building. So that's what you need to do next to give you back some of your contrast. But this is a big improvement otherwise with your albedos. So good stuff. Keep it up. Bit by bit, you're going to start getting there with it. So yeah, big improvement. Well done. And we had Victor. This week, not much progress. Marathon released. How is Marathon? Is it any good? Like, yeah, what? How have they done on it? We were using Blender 2 weeks ago, Mr. Brooker. You missed it. You've been MIA, but the prodigal son has returned. So we're still doing some Blenderage here and there. So last few weeks we've been pushing hard on portfolio work for lighting and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the Blender is going to definitely return. The part I worked on this week was the bottom arches pane. Here's the references in my progress shot. Yeah, how you been, Mr. Brooks? Swear to God, Miro, why? You don't need updating. Oh my God. So that you need to you need to resave a version of this for next week. It's so high res, I can see my soul. More like 6 gigabytes. Just 65. Start your own religion with looking at that image. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of blocking out, right? So yeah, cool. This level of detail for blockout is that's sort of like, I mean, for a thing like this, it's almost your completed mesh anyway. But yeah, keep blocking out to this sort of L2 detail. Start figuring out your back wall pieces so that you're actually building up each floor. Yeah, I mean, nothing really stands out to me. You just gotta get your walls in so we can start to see proportional differences. But I think you're modeling over the image with FSpy, so it should be roughly correct. See, this to me is probably is too much detail for the stage you're in, personally. So ideally, these because these should almost just be like, we're talking like blockout sort of style, right? They should just not have any of the inner detail in. I mean, it looks cool, but it's harder for you do to have your stuff be phased in like blockout and then proxy. To me, this is proxy geometry, right? So just try and keep everything as simple as possible until it's locked in, and then go ham because it will simulate a good working simulation in a studio. Because this, for example, would be too detailed for the phase you're um, at a game studio that has like predefined grids for approval. So, but it does look cool though. Just be careful on it. Yeah, let's get the back walls in and start getting these lower floors built. But other than that, this looks pretty good. Yeah, a lot of trim sheetage, a lot of trim sheets. Yeah, nothing. I can't really spot anything because let's say you're still just forming it into a grey box. So yeah, back walls. Build it down from the bottom. So that's layer one, layer two. You get layer three in from there. The rest, I mean, those bits look like the hardest bits, so the rest should be pretty good to go. What's this going to look like in the context of your blockout? Like, how close is the camera going to get? I'm just curious. It will define how much detail you put into the top floors. Fucking hell. How high res is this? It's good though. I don't know if these are merged in. If they are, I would consider floating them so that you can just have 2 or 3 variants and instance them around. Because these to me look like just plopped on top as a separate modular piece. Is this section? Are you set up kind of like this in terms of your separate mesh elements? That should really go down all the way there. Sorry. Oh, I need a lazy mouse. Ugh. Because this is how I would kind of imagine it. Because the reason I say this is because you want to be able to separate all these out and work on them and just crash them in. Especially because you may want to sculpt this, and if it's all merged together, it's a pain. But also, if this back face is separate, you just loading in a different panel. So I think once you've done your mirroring and all the proportions are correct, I would try and deconstruct this back and see how much you can do in Unreal with the modular snaps versus the one big mesh. But it also depends on your camera, because what you're doing now is great for if it's not going to get too close to it, high up. But if you're targeting like a nanite workflow, this stuff being separate, sculpted up, and used is key. In both methods, I think having separate panels is quite nice because it lets you work on stuff a lot easier and duplicate it across. Like for example, right, you probably need to do some work on this, and then you can separate this into sort of 2 polycubes and thicken up this a little bit, and thicken up these shapes, and then it's not merged into the back, and vice versa. It just keeps you as flexible as possible. Other than that, no, it looks good. Just don't push too far on on your geo. And if you can try and separate things, so gray blockouts are fine, but if you can just get like a different type of gray on the pillars, a different type of gray on the back plate, and a different type of gray on the arch, even if they're slightly tinted, it's just so much better for readability, and your blockout's going to read much nicer in that regard. But no, just good progress of ways. That's just a recommendation from me. Just yeah, keep going. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, really good stuff again this week. Very solid progress from everybody. I think that's everybody. Any questions for the chat? Remember, we have our guest talk on Monday. And we have another guest talk talking about nanite from a advanced level environment artist coming soon. We'll announce it very soon. I'll hang around for any chat questions. But do check us out on Patreon and all that jazz. I'm so hungry. Oh, I was going to hop in the chat. People chilling today, so skip that. Cool. Well, it's been good. I'll see you guys next week. We had a break last week, so you came by. Sorry for that. I'll see you next week on the stream, and otherwise, I'll see you guys around in the Discord. It's been very cool, and it was good to see some returning folks as well, like Mr. Brooker. But yeah, see you guys around. Peace.